Hello and welcome to you all. My name is Vishal, and this is our cohort for building information modeling, um, essentially ISO 19650. So yes, we will be discussing ISO 19650, and yes, we were trying to make sense out of it as far as how does it benefit a construction company or a built environment company, be it in the construction phase, be it in the phase of yeah, I was just checking the yeah, just checking the microphone. Everything is fine. So we will be checking. We will be seeing how does it make business sense to do all these things, and that is what we were discussing in our session. In the coming sessions, including all the sessions that we will be doing. And welcome to you all. We'll continue after these messages. Welcome back. So we will be discussing, like we said, this is a second session overall in terms of how we would be taking the overall discussion in our book club. Please remember, this is a book club, which means and participation on both sides would be appreciated rather. And give me a bit. Let me just let our colleagues know that we have started. So that is what we're gonna see today. This is our session number 2, and we will be setting up. What we're gonna do today is we would be jogging your memory what we discussed last time. Remember, this is only a 15-minute session, and we learn in bite size. That's what we do, and that is what we would be doing, and that's the reason it is not quite often that we will be going through what we have done previously or what we did in previous session. It's just for this session we're making an exception. So that's our Tech Tuesday tips. The one was for fire audits as per NBC 2025. How essential it will be in the NBC 2025. I'm not sure if NBC 2025 is still be called, if the new release of NBC 2025 would still be called 2025, because we are already in year 2026 now. And Happy New Year to you all. May this year bring happiness, prosperity, and good health to you and your loved ones. So coming back to our discussion, so we don't know about how when it will be released, but I will keep referring to it as 2025 because I don't see any on BIS website anything related to the name change or anything. So that's pretty much it. So that's what we're going to do this time around. That's what we continue doing. And the next tip, which was for this week, was about the eliminating the exit signs. And yes, of course, these are the exit signs. And the code is very strict on it now. Instead of aesthetics, they said, no, please be very clear about how you want to move out. Make sure that your people are moving out of your building. So that's two trivias that we talked about. Information container. Now, if you're a software engineer, it's more like a JSON string, where JSON string, JSON string, which has a structured or unstructured information. So you can think of it as an Excel file which has a sheet in it, and that sheet has certain columns, which is structured information though. It can be unstructured as well. So, and ISO 19650 defines it as the fundamental unit for managing, exchanging, and approving information. Why? Because if you have not agreed on the information container, the approving person, now we're talking about information, we're not talking about drawing. So we need to take away ourselves from the drawings and bring ourselves into information. So drawing is as well as is a visual information, but not, but the other information, for example, the thickness of the wall, the kind of plaster it's going onto, the material of construction of that plaster, the material of construction of the bricks, what all that would be is something that is defined by it's also defined in one of the information container. Now, if you don't have these standardized, yes, there are some standards that are out there that can be used for this information. As we keep going on, we'll keep discussing those. And ISO 19650 says that you need to use these containers, a predefined information, to ensure approvability, and of course to make your CDE happy, that is your common data environment. Remember, 19650 is dances around CDE, so it helps you to define your CDE, what goes in, what comes out, what's the procedure to manage it. And we will be seeing today very important concept of why is it important from the management perspective? Why is it important to implement ISO 19650, or for that matter, uh, switching to building information modeling? If you are in, if you are a stakeholder in any involved in any part of, or any section, or any section of the overall life cycle of a building, from the inception, from the day the client thinks in his head or her head that, or their head, that they want to build a building, from that point onwards till the time the building gets constructed, erected, handed over, and then of course gets demolished at one point of time. So that whole life cycle, uh, uh, we will be looking at. If you are a contractor who does any part of this, perhaps you only do the design, perhaps you only do the installation, perhaps you're only going and installing the let's say the lightning arrestor. You are a important part of the project, right? You need to give all those information, that where you're going to put those lightning arrestors on the roof, how you're going to make sure that it's grounded to the on the earth, which way you're going to take your conductors, how you're going to insulate them, what would be the thickness of it, what are the likelihood of lightning. So it's very important, very small information, very large information as well, all would be distributed around with these containers, and these are what we call as information container, and they are persistent set of structured or unstructured information such as a model, document, schedule, or data set, right? So these are the protocol. It becomes very these are the information container. The next trivia was about the purpose of these. Okay, it so yes, I have written over there legally enforceable rules for managing. So in some of the jurisdictions, these information might be legally enforceable, wherein they say uh, such and such contractor, for example, your fire contractor is supposed to give you a hydraulic calculation um, uh, for the sprinkler system that they have installed. They are supposed to give you the battery calculation for the fire alarm system that they have installed. So those are the enforceable rules for managing all these. And if your CDE is designed that way, it's ready to collect that information in collect that information in the information container as an information container. It helps you to make sure that you hold them liable for any kind of information that they've given, because at the end of the day, they are responsible to produce that information. Yeah, the consultant is approving, but at the end of the day, it's them who needs to give it approval. Same stands for, let's say, the electrical contractor who would be giving you the load calculations overall for the building, and everyone comes to the electrical contractor and say, Mr. Contractor, my motor is 20 kilowatts. Please take this much of load for me. How much? And they add on to them, and then they design the overall transformer, and then they go to the utility companies, Karama usually in GCC, your state electricity boards in India, or there are some private players as well in certain states. So they go to them and get them approval. So these information are contractual obligations. They need to give them. So that's the reason. That's the protocol that has been defined, and these are the RACI matrix. At the end of the day, we've already discussed that. We will be discussing that in great length sooner or later. So that's what we discussed. So that's what we could be doing in our sessions. We will be looking at what we would be covering, and what I want to be more specific about what we will not be covering. We're not talking about any products in these sessions. We will not be talking about software tutorials or modeling commands. We're not doing that. Okay. Very quickly, we discussed about the need and why we need BIM, and I gave some examples. If you can go onto our YouTube channel, or perhaps on my LinkedIn profile, you can see rerun the video, replay the video for yourself, and jog your memory. So the two concepts that we talked about the history overall of how building information modeling has evolved over the years. So today we will be talking about the parts, two major concepts we are bringing in today, and the reason that we are bringing that is because ISO 19650 has been divided into parts. Perhaps it's the reason it was done is for manageability, because it's more manageable. You divide, for example, let's say the concepts and principle, you put that in part 1. The delivery phase of the assets, you put it in part 2. Operational phase of the asset, you put in part 3. In part 4, you talk about how you're going to do the information exchange from one person to another person, system, and of course people as well. And 5 would be about security approach. You need to have, because we're talking about softwares, at this very moment we're talking about process, but we will be eventually, all these things will be done by the software. We will be talking about that as well, and of course we will talking in part 6 about health and safety information. So these are the things that comes in the ISO 19650. That's how it's divided overall, and you can see on your screen all those are very nicely done though. Part 1 also talks about the sustainability development goals. It's a very important part of India as well now. It's for ESG goals. The Indian government has come up with new regulations, and those regulations are being implemented. As far as the ISO 19650 is concerned, it talks about the health and safety information, and mind you, in India as well as they have come up with their labor code and their HSE code as well. You can say standard or code, it's already released, and the responsibility of, if there is a hazard, and I'm talking in a very loose term, but not using the term which is actually written in the standard, is that it is a responsibility of the employee to also flag these kind of problems. So this is the overall view that we will be looking at. Two concepts that I told you about, the two key takeaways, and the second concept that we want to talk about today is Wait a minute, I don't know why the image has not come in here. I'll just give me a bit. I'm not sure why that happened. So the other concept we were talking about, the integrated management system, wherein now I'm not talking about the definition per se from any standard point of view. So you can see it's a unified framework of organization excellence. We will be talking about strategy management as well throughout as we keep going on. How all these things um, are used from the point of view of an organization to uh, to define their strategy, how their strategy should be. Every organization have their goals, and if you're managing your strategies properly, wherein every organization is created for a reason. The purpose of the organization, what they want to do. Yes, they want to do manufacturing and yeah, but there's a more underlying process or a purpose that they are existing over there. So we will be correlating why as we keep going on. Keep going on talking about BIM. We've been saying from the management point of view, for example, 9001 gives you the quality, 14,001 gives you the environment management, 45,001 is health and safety, 27,001 is information security management, 22,301 is business continuity. Now, energy management, then asset management, and the risk management, as you can see on your screen. So we would be talking about all these ISOs as well as and when it is required as we keep going on with ISO 19650, because at the end of the day, the purpose of us is to understand the process, and let's make it very clear. BIM is a process. Building information modeling is a process wherein you use tools like Autodesk, many tools from Autodesk. Dassault has them, and there are many other manufacturers, product companies as well who has them. Those are tools, but to make a process wherein since everything is happening today on computers and it's all about information, it becomes important that these processes, if your organization are having those growth pains wherein they are not able to go to the next level, perhaps you need to get these systems in your these ISO standards in your system, and having a chat with each and every stakeholders of your organization within your organization to see how you can excel and you can go through the next phase of growth of your organization. And that is where the strategy management comes as well. So we will be talking about all these things together. I know it's too much, but that's what we will be talking. We are taking references from many places. If you need any references or substantiation of anything that I've shown here, you're more than welcome to always write to me, and of course unmute yourself on our Zoom channel, Zoom session, and we can talk more about it. I think we have covered our time for today. We are actually gone beyond the time today. With that, I would like to end our session for today. You have been a very awesome audience, and up until our next week, please let me know what more you would like to see, so that we can include that in our session as well. With that, Happy New Year to you once time again. Take a very good care of yourselves throughout the week. See you next week. Bye-bye.